Hello there, everyone. Today I'm going to tie this. This is a nymph, and a nymph designed for upstream fishing. This is a Peeping Caddis, but this is not the same way as I've done Peeping Caddis before, because this is tied on a jig hook. A jig hook is a bit strange to look at, but these kinds of hooks has some properties that makes them absolutely amazing. And it's only recent that I discovered exactly how great this is, because up until a month ago where I talked to this guy, I didn't know at all why these jig hooks were so cool. But what makes these jig hooks so unique is the way that the tungsten bead is located. And the way the tungsten bead is located will ensure that the fly will be standing on the bottom like this. So it will sink like this, and it will stand on the bottom like this, which gives the barb will always be turned upwards, and this will ensure that you get a lot less snags. So very great thing. First of all, you take one of these jig hooks, and this is a Chimco jig hook, a great one, and then you take a tungsten bead, but you can't use any tungsten bead. You have to use the slotted tungsten bead, and in this you have kind of like a slot here, and you attach these by pulling the hook first through the slot, and then the tungsten bead will fall down and stay at the correct place, which is there. So basically now I have my tungsten bead placed in the right place, and then it's just, the rest is fairly simple. What I like about these Peeping Caddis types of patterns, these heavy nymphs, is that you can do some sight fishing. You can sneak around on the bank, at least on the Danish rivers, but I imagine you can do this a lot of other places. I've done it in Norway as well, and you can simply make very short casts to fish you have seen, and that's also why we're going to use something very fluorescent. This is a fluorescent pink material. We're going to use that to be kind of like the tail of the fly, which is going to be the head of the actual insect, and that's a very nice way to go, because then you will have an easy time of spotting your fly when it's, let's see, 2 meters down into the water, and it really is exciting to sneak around the bank. Just take a bundle of this. This is fluorofiber. In fluorescent pink, you can use for fluorescent yellow and fluorescent anything. Just something that is a lot of contrast, so it's easy for you to spot down in the water. Basically, I take a big bundle of this, and I just put this off to the side, because I want this to be fairly. I want this to be collected, so I take a piece of tying thread like so, and then I make a knot on that. I put my fluorofiber into the loop here, and then I tie down. So you can see this knot here on the tying thread will make all the fibers here come together right now. Yeah, I like Beatles. I like a lot of a bit more heavy music as well, but all the great stuff, all Beatles, and yeah, that was a sidetrack. But like that. So it will keep the fibers together. I'm gonna do one more knot, just to ensure it stays right there, like so. And why I do this is because I'm gonna use my lighter. First, I'm gonna trim this a bit more, and then I'm gonna use a lighter to melt it together, so it kind of so it will stick together. And now my lighter is out of lighter. 1 second. So it's going to imitate the head of the fly here. I see there's a few strands that is not attached completely. I'm going to cut those off, like so. So it's going to look like it's going to imitate the head, but in reality, it's mainly, if you do it in white, it's going to look, or in gray, it's going to look a lot more like the head of the fly. But we're going to use it as a way to spot the fly easier in the water when you're sight fishing. For particular fish you have spotted deep down in a very deep hole and stuff like that. So I'm gonna I turned it upwards and then backwards again on top of the hook in order not to fill up too much of the hook bend here. And when I get around here, I'm gonna cut off all of this stuff here because we don't need that, like so. And the reason why I do this is, of course, it's going to make the fly stronger, but it's also going to save on the amount of dubbing that we're going to use, because now the general layout of the fly is fairly thick. Then we're going to use the next thing here, and that is a small partridge hackle. Make sure you pick out a small one that's don't have too long feathers. So I'm just gonna select one that will suit my purpose here. This one looks nice. As you can see, this is a relatively small feather, like so. And then I'm gonna fold everything back here. Well, this really was a nice feather for this. So without pulling off any of the feather strands, just gonna pull everything back, like so. Hope you can see that. And then I'm gonna tie this down so the side that was facing up on the partridge skin is also pointing upwards, like that. I'm gonna take my hackle plier. And when you're tying small nymphs and stuff like this, then really it is a key element that you have a good hackle plier. And I must say, I've tried a lot of different stuff, but this one is the one that works. The CF Design hackle plier is the best hackle plier in, well, as far as I know, the known universe. So I'm gonna turn my hackle here. We don't need a lot, because actually these don't have that many legs. What did just happen? That's the first time that has happened. I just pressed the hackle plier and then it slips on me. A very neat selling trick. I must have. I'm sure it was me who made a mistake. I simply will not accept that it was the hackle plier. So maybe I just attached it a bit wrong. It must have been me. It never failed me before. So I'm gonna cut off the hackle stem, and then I'm gonna try to fold all this partridge backwards, like so. And then I'm gonna tie up to the hackle, so that it points backwards and covers the pink head part of the fly here. And basically, then you take some dubbing that you think will imitate the caddis flies in your stream. I've made a mix of some gray and some flashy blue dubbing in copper. That's a good mix for me. Something I've had a lot of fish on, so that's what I'm gonna do. And basically, if I fish in Norway or if I fish in Denmark or whatever I fish, I basically use the same color combination. If you have something that is gray that can imitate sand and small stones and stuff like that, then you're good to go. And this is a nice combination with the flesh dubbing mixed into the the natural squirrel dubbing here. That really looks well in the water, and grayling likes it. So basically, you want to have it a bit thicker towards the head than towards the eye. But if you just make it uniform, that's also very nice. And this really is something that the both graylings and brown trout feed a lot on. Basically, there are. In my experience is that there are two different places where trout and grayling feed. One of them is at the surface, but it's not very often that they feed on the surface compared to how often it is they eat nymphs and stuff like that. And nymphs and stuff like that, they live on the bottom. So basically, what you have to do if you want to fish as efficiently as possible is you want to fish either to fish you have seen rising with dry flies, or otherwise you want to be as close to the bottom as possible, because I read a study about this also, but about 90% of stream fish 90% of their food is something they pick up near the bottom. So the closer you can get to the bottom, as the more fish you will catch. And that's also why the tungsten beads are so great, because they really has they have a high density, and they really fish well, and they get your fly to the bottom very fast. So basically, there you have it, a small peeping caddis with a bit added of copper flashabou to give some contrast and to make this sparkle a bit down in the deep waters where you want to fish this. And if you want, you can brush it out with a comb or something like that, but basically this is it. You can use a bigger tungsten bead also if you like. This is 4mm on a size 8 hook, and you can even have a larger hook as well, because this is fairly these caddis, these building caddis can be quite big. So, but basically a fairly simple nymph, and this is without a doubt one of my absolute favorite nymphs of all time, and it will stand like this on the bottom. Ensuring that you do not get as many snacks. Of course, you can get snacks anyway, but not as many snacks. And really, this is a fly that fishes exceedingly well. Thank you for watching.